It's time for more classes! So let's get into it! Hey everyone, welcome to Porcupine Gamers, where we're bringing people together with all things tabletop. And in this series, we're going to be talking more about D&D classes that you can choose from. So in our last video, we covered the Barbarian, the Bard, the Cleric, and the Druid. Now we're up to everyone's favorite martial fighter, the Fighter. Now, if you hadn't seen our last video, please take time to go back and look at it. It kind of sets everything up. We also talked about spellcasting and combat. So if you don't know about that, we've got videos for you as well. In this video, we're going to be talking about a few more of the classes you can choose in D&D. And I'm going to go over what they're good at, what stats to focus on, and what races lend themselves to these classes. So first up, we have the Fighter here. Fighter's good at combat. You can build them either a ranged or a melee build. They're pretty durable, so you can build them to be the tank of the group to defend people, and they can take a hit and keep coming because they do also get a D10 hit die. And feats I put in there are a way to kind of do various roles. If you haven't looked at feats, I put a video out for that as well. But in the player handbook, you can go over what feats are, and some of them obviously help with what you're trying to do for tank build, mounted combat build, ranged build, all those different things. Fighters are durable. They lend themselves to various different roles, so depending on what you're doing for the party, they can pretty much do all of that. Depending on if you want to build it, you can either do a Legolas or a Gimli. A strength-based fighter, like Gimli for example, is going to use strength, and a dex-based fighter, or ranged, is going to use dex. And never the twain shall meet. So pick one and stick to it. I put here what stats are going to be your main stats, strength or dex, and the reason is exactly what I just talked about. Strength, you're going to be a strength melee fighter. Dex, you're going to be more ranged. Con is always good. Constitution is just absorbing damage, so you'll probably want to do Constitution as your secondary. And for your dump stats, you can basically just get rid of Charisma and Intelligence. You're not going to be talking, you're not going to really be smart. Okay. You can do Wisdom for perception checks, but whatever. And then the other stat you didn't take is your dump stat. Unless you're picking up Eldritch Knight, in which case Intelligence will boost your saving throws, but otherwise don't worry about that. Now, I've got here the Fighters, and there's a lot of them, that if you like playing a fighter, take some inspiration from these guys. I put Aragorn, as well as pretty much every soldier in every movie. In addition, you've got Blade, King Arthur, every anime fighter. So you've got a lot to draw off of. Now this one's kind of interesting because of all of them I put together 3 different builds. You've got a strength build, you've got Eldritch Knight build, and a finesse build. So if you're doing strength, obviously strength's going to be your primary stat. 15 there, 10 on your dex, 15 con, 10 on your intelligence, 12 on your wisdom, and 9 on your charisma. If you're doing the Eldritch Knight build, 15 strength, 8 on your dex, 14 on your con, 14 on your intelligence, 12 on your wisdom, and 8 on your charisma. And then for archery, 8 strength, 15 dex, 15 constitution, 10 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 10 charisma. Up next, we have everyone's favorite races for the fighter. There you go. There's old Gimli and Legolas. So, Aarakocras are great because they have dex boosts. Also, they can fly, so they make a great ranged archer. The Aesir Fallen, Volo's Guide for that one. Bugbear, again, Volo's Guide, both strength buff, obviously. Mountain Dwarf, strength. Elf, the Shutter Kai actually gets Dex, I believe, and Strength. So you can go either way with that. And they have that Shadow Teleport ability, which is pretty awesome. The Genesee, or Genesee, however you say that, Earth and Fire, but not Earth, Wind, and Fire. Elemental Evil, the Goliath, obviously she's a great melee fighter. Half-Orc, Halfling, Human with the variant build, Kobold, Volo's Guide. A Lizard Folk, again, Lizard Folk are awesome. Volo's Guide. Tiefling, you can go either Zariel or Feral build for the kind of the subclass within Tiefling. And then within Eberron, the Shifter has a few different forms you can do: Beast-Hide, Longtooth, and Swift-Stride, depending on how you built your fighter. Warforged, Dragon-Marked Human with the mark of making your passage. And now, the Monk. Monk. Not sure if you want to be a monk. If you like Bruce Lee, Kung Fu Panda, the Avatar, any number of anime characters, this guy's good for you. Okay? There are styles of monk that you can build, so I'll leave that to you, but all of them want Dex. Monks are good at being your defender, melee combat, and you can even build a Shadow Monk I put in there for your rogue. If you have a rogue, though, don't try to step on the rogue's toes. You're not going to be as good, but you are a good kind of pinch hitter for the monk. Dex, obviously good. Wisdom and Constitution are your secondary. Strength is an optional stat. Intelligence and Charisma are going to be your dumb stats. There are different class features with each monk build, so kind of do that according to the way you want to play. But for the most part, they all play pretty much the same. Dex, Wisdom, and Constitution. You have skills that you use that will use Wisdom. Play if you like. All these guys I mentioned. Avatar, Kung Fu Panda, One Punch Man. Pretty much any number of Avatar. There's actually a, I think it's the 4 elements, way of the 4 elements, if you want to be a bender. It doesn't play as thematically as you think it will. Unfortunately, the girl that's the gymnast on Avatar, that's the friend with Zuko's sister, who's like cute and perky and does all those like pressure point things, that's probably closer to what you'll play as the monk. But either way, tons of fun. For this guy, here's your stat breakdown for point buy. 8 strength, 15 dex, 14 con, 10 intelligence, 15 wisdom, and 8 charisma. There they are. Again, I mentioned in the last video, if you see your video or your picture here, let me know so I can give you credit. Or if you don't want it, let me know to take it down. All these I used PowerPoint, obviously, with just what they said was Creative Commons license. But let me know, I'll give you credit. Aarakocra, Elemental Evil. You can fly, Dex bump. Obviously good for a monk. Pretty much all of these will have Dex bump. Wood Elf, Water Genocide, a Goblin actually. A little Goblin Monk. That'd be fun, right? Dex bump. Goblins get a lot of cool perks. Halfling Ghostwise. Kenku Volo's Guide. Kobold Volo's Guide. And now the Paladin. Paladin, not sure if you want to be a Paladin? Easy breakdown for you. You always wanted to be Superman. Like, seriously. Superman pick. You will need to learn a lot with the Paladin because it basically touches on everything within the game. Long rest, short rest, bonus action, reaction. You're going to do all the different things. So tougher for newer players, but also good because you're going to learn everything if you are the Paladin. So that's kind of nice. Like I said, Superman, the Paladin's going to be good at the tank, healer, fighter, everything. The Paladin can be built almost any way and be a great solo character. Charisma is going to be your main stat. because it's your casting stat. Oh, I revealed it again. Yeah, revealed. Charisma, and then again, just like with the fighter, you're going to go dex or strength. You can be finesse/ranged paladin, or you can be up close. I would recommend strength just because a lot the paladin builds with is conducive to being up close. Also, you get a mount. You get to summon a mount from heaven and ride on it. So I guess you could ride and shoot, but your melees and your smites are going to be great. Same crossfit I talked about with the dex and strength. Your dump stat's going to be the one you didn't take. So intelligence and wisdom and either strength or dex. It's funny. You don't need to be wise. You're charismatic. Play if you like. Superman. Captain America. Darth Vader, believe it or not. The Oath of Conquest is very much Darth Vader. RoboCop. Your move, creep. Come on. Guys, I can't do these references by myself. You got to get them, okay? Strength, 8. Dex, 15. Con, 15. 8 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 15 charisma. Swap the dex and the strength. Easy peasy. But, look at that. That was easy. Now, recommended races for the Paladin. Also, shout out here. Tell me if I'm saying it right. It's Bun Boy Arts does a bunch of comics like this, so I found him and I'm like, I'm going to try to use a lot of these. So, if you're out there, if you see my videos, I'd love to put a thing there to like share over to where you're at. I'm going to put in the link in this video over to your Twitter, because that's what I found, and Reddit. It's got protect others with all your might. For those in need, do what is right. Vanquish all of the evil within your sight by your hand divine smite. Which will make sense when you start playing a paladin. You eventually get the ability to, when you hit something, charge it with holy light, and eventually you roll all the d8s. So it's pretty awesome. Asimir, Fallen, or Scourge in Volo's Guide are pretty good. That's if you're a Dark Paladin, a Broken Oath Paladin. The Eladrin, Mordekainen's Tomb of Foes, Half-Elf, Tabaxi. I didn't put that on there. Tabaxi is Volo's Guide as well. Tiefling can either be Levistus, Zariel, or you can do the winged variant. You've got the Triton, UNT Pureblood, again, great choice, Volo's Guide. Eberron, you can have the Shifter, Beasthide or Longtooth, Warforged, Dragon-Marked Elf, the Mark of Shadow, Dragon-Marked Half-Elf, the Mark of Storm, and Dragon-Marked Human, the Mark of Passage. Alright, who do we got next? The Ranger! So, basically, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, he was a ranger. Okay, I know we're on the Lord of the Rings kick here. Talion, I don't know if you played that Lord of the Rings where he's taking control of, you could mix in some Warlock there. And it'd be Evil Talion / Good Talion. If you like tracking things, being good in combat, but also having spells and an animal buddy, the Ranger's for you. Your focus, obviously, believe it or not, is going to be Dex. I'm sure you couldn't guess with the bow. And then Wisdom and Con secondary. Wisdom you use for some of your abilities and things, and Con obviously is just good to have. You can basically then from there pick your role based on what party you're working with. You could be the fighter type or the rogue type, scout, striker. You're definitely going to be the guy tracking stuff down. Shunny. The Ranger's just great. It's very versatile. I know a lot of people crap on the Ranger, but I think it's good. You can build a lot of different ways, and D&D is all about role-playing, not about being the min-maxing super guy, okay? You'll have a lot more fun if you do it that way. Charisma and Strength, dump stats. You don't need them. You're a woodsman. You're not talking, and you're not splitting logs with your hand. You're shooting with a bow. If you like, Aragorn, Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. He was a ranger. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Jon Snow. He was a ranger. Katniss Everdeen. Basically, anyone that hunts and tracks people down. You could do Dog the Bounty Hunter. That's what a ranger is. They have affinity with animals, which they are looking at tweaking. They've done stuff in Unearthed Arcana, but we'll see. My favorite guy throughout all of time is a ranger. Drizzt Do'Urden. You're going to see him in the next clip. R.A. Salvatore. Just a shout out, R.A. Salvatore. Woo, woo, woo. I've read all your books. Come be on my show. No, I don't really have a show. But definitely an awesome ranger. And if you looked at the stats, not super the min-maxed choice to do, but very, very thematic. Strength is 8, Dex is 15, Con is 14, Intelligence is 10, because you don't want to be a potato. 15 Wisdom, and then 8 Charisma. I mean, you can see those are still pretty solid stats. Coming up next, the races. So recommended races for the Ranger. You've got the Aarakocra, Elemental Evil. Again, Dex is the buff there. Bugbear, Volo's Guide. Wood Elf, Shadar-kai, the Mordekainen's Tomb of Foes. Water Genocide, Elemental Evil. Goblin, again, Dex buff. Volo's Guide. Half Elf, the Wood Elf variety. Halfling Ghostwise. Human Variant. Sorry, my beard's pushing my lip down, so I'm going to talk like this. Kenku, Volo's Guide. Kobold, Volo's Guide. Lizard Folk, you guessed it, Volo's Guide. The Turtle, and then Eberron stuff is going to be the Warforged. Dragonmark Elf with the Mark of Shadow. Dragonmark Half Elf with Mark of Detection. And Dragonmark Halfling, Mark of Healing. And, Dragonmark Human, Mark of Handling and Passage. Alright guys, hope that all made sense to you. Kind of the quick breakdown of those 4 classes. Again, not a requirement. I put that disclaimer at the beginning of my last video. Basically, these are just optimized races and ways to build your guys that will make them efficient. Either if you want to just jump in and don't know what you're doing, or you do know what you're doing and you'd like to just cut to it and have a good build. Alright guys, hopefully that made sense. These are the races, classes, and stats that will help out for you. Connect with your community of like-minded individuals in the comment section below and talk about what class you're excited to play. And if you found value, hit the bell button for more D&D videos like this in the future. Thanks for joining us guys, and as always, let's come together as family, friends, and neighbors over the tabletop. And now for the takeouts. Everybody comment in the sections below and just comment to Cooper. Thanks for watching guys. Leave some comments down below and say what you liked and didn't like in the video and what you're looking forward into to